Hi YouTube, and welcome back to my Let's Play Diablo 3 on the weekends. I don't know if folks have noticed that I'm no longer posting something regular every Saturday and every Sunday. I'm just kind of doing Diablo 3 on the weekends. So it could go up Saturday, it could go up Sunday, it just depends on how my weekend's going and all of that jazz. Instead of doing, like I was doing The Sims 3 on Saturdays and SimCity on Sundays, which I may eventually get back to those, or maybe I'll just do Sims 3 for a while, or I don't know, we'll see. But for right now, I'm really enjoying doing the Diablo 3 series and getting through this, so I'm basically going to continue the Diablo 3 series on the weekends until I basically get to the max level, and then I may or may not kind of retire for a while, we'll see, and bring back my Sims 3 and continue that series again. That series is definitely not gone permanently, it's just a temporary little hiatus while I kind of figure out my schedule and things. Trying to get more clients, trying to get more work, and my husband has now left his corporate job and is now self-employed as well, so we're kind of figuring out our rhythms all over again with everything. So just having a more casual weekend, rather than, because with the Sims 3 especially, I was very, very dedicated to doing a lot of I'd be doing like, an hour and a half of gaming to get a 15-minute video to get the storytelling that I want. With Diablo 3 here, you can see I'm just kind of running through each of the different acts and chapters of the game. Every week, one of them, and it's just a much easier edit. I'm letting the game tell its own story, the way it's meant to be played out in the game, and not, with Sims 3, you do your own storytelling instead of letting the game tell the story. So, be that as it may, so as you can see, our Crusader is working her way up. She's going to be leveling fairly quickly here. You can see her experience bar is almost completely full, so we'll be leveling up and getting some new skills and things. So that's always fun. And for those of you who might be new watching this, if you're wondering why she has glowy angelic wings, that's just because it's because I have the premium version of the latest expansion, the Reaper of Souls expansion. That was one of the little perks that was given, was these angelic wings. So I kind of like them. I think they look really cool. Plus, it makes it very easy for me visually on screen to locate my main character versus who people I'm attacking. I mean, obviously she's always like center of the screen one way or the other, but sometimes when there's a really big mass of combatants and everything, I sometimes lose sight of where she is specifically in the fight, and so it kind of makes it easier from a visual perspective, if nothing else. And right now we're basically kind of going through the Fields of Misery, trying to find the first piece of the missing sword that was lost by the man that fell to Earth as the fallen star, and that's what we discovered last week, is that the fallen star was actually a man who somehow survived a fall from the heaven. And we're now looking for pieces of his sword that he was having carried. I tend to, oh, there we go, like I said, level 11. Leveling pretty quickly actually at this point, which is kind of nice. And I will be having a few bits of lore and stuff interspersed. I'm not going to show all the lore, but I am going to be showing some of it. So just stay tuned for that. And here's one actually coming up right about now, actually.
I have heard the most ridiculous tales about travelers being ambushed by vicious trees. It is too much. Despite their names, the wood wraiths are not plants, but fully mobile beasts who have taken on the guise of foliage to ensnare their prey. Only a simpleton could be fooled by such a trick.
Alrighty, so I just got a little bit of lore in there. Again, I'm not going to include all the lore that we come across in the game, but I am going to throw a little bit of lore in here and there. And if you want to know more lore, well, there's lots of sites online that have the information, or you can just play the game yourself. Haha. Which I'm sure is something Blizzard would love for me to say, even though they're not paying me to say it, so just disclaimer there. Alright, so we leveled up, so obviously we've got some new spells and things, some new attacks, like the sweep attack and everything. So I always like trying out the new ones when I get them, just to see how they are and decide if I like them or not. And one of the ways I kind of look for things when I'm trying to hunt for a specific thing in the game is the area that I'm supposed to be looking for it. Like here, we're in the Fields of Misery. So I go around the entire circumference, the entire outside border of the space that we're supposed to be exploring. It's kind of like the way I color. When I used to do, as a kid when I was coloring, so I wouldn't color outside the lines, I would always trace the inside lines with the crayon first, and then I'd fill in everything else after that. It kept me from coloring outside the lines, and that's kind of the approach I'm taking with this, if that makes any sense. Is I'm kind of going around the entire border, and then if I haven't found what I'm looking for yet, then I kind of start filling in the rest of the space until I find it. And in some cases, I will try to explore the entire space, just because I'm trying to find, sometimes there's other hidden caves and that kind of thing, where there's additional treasures and that and such. And sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm like, I'm just going to get on with it and keep going with the storyline and things. So, sometimes you'll see me taking a little bit more time, and sometimes you won't. There's something to be said for, that's one of the reasons I like the game, though, is of course the exploration and just, discovering new areas and that kind of thing. And so I'm glad that they keep adding new content and things, because that's always interesting to me, is new content and such. Little froggy buggers. Alright, oh yeah, I hate these trees too, but at this level, thankfully, they're easy enough to kill.
When the Crusaders had learned all they could, Akan sent them out into the world, seeking a way to cleanse the corruption that coiled at the heart of the Zakarum faith. There was no clear goal for them to pursue, and some clerics claimed it was a fool's errand, that they could never succeed. But these Crusaders would not be deterred.
Alright, so a little bit more lore on the Crusaders. Obviously, I think I mentioned this before, anytime a book drops with those bits of lore, I definitely include those in the game, just because, there's a reason why they're dropping the books rather than just having this blinking lore button on the side. They're a little bit more in-depth about, some more important things, like in this case, the Crusaders, which is, our main character is a Crusader. At least that's the class I've chosen to play, and that's the newest class in the Reaper of Souls expansion, for those of you new to this game and just stumbling across my video randomly. Alright, so we found what we're looking for here, and that's why we reached the checkpoint, is we need to go into that cave. But here we've got a few other attackers first, and I kind of like getting the entire area outside of the entrance of any kind of caves completely cleared first before we move on. And here we've got an elite dude. These guys always drop better loot than your average things. So you can see it's a yellow item. Blue items are good, yellow items are better, orange are the best, basically.
Though I have searched every corner of the great library of Chaldeum, I can find no references to the true fate of the blood clan Khazra. Some crumbling papers hint that they made a pact to serve the mythical lesser evils. But surely such a thing cannot be considered proper scholarship. Can it?
Alright, so that's going to be the last bit of lore that I'm including in this particular episode. And I thought I'd include that while I was busy kind of checking out my inventory and re-equipping and things. So now we're going in here and we're faced with this coven, plus a lot of these crazed goatmen that are just running around rampantly everywhere. And one of the things I definitely like about this game, because yes, I have played through a lot of the stuff quite a few times before already, but every time you go into an area, it's different. The cave layouts are different, just everything layout-wise is completely different every single time. So you think you know how to get to a particular part of the cave or a particular part of an area, and it's always completely randomized and always in a completely different place. So it's like, even though you've played this and you know the scenarios and the storyline and things, ultimately at the end of the day, it's still different and still always a little bit of a challenge. Just, you know, so I think that they were very clever with that design of the game. Alright, so now we're going to kill all of these coven members who are teaming against us. And we defeat them easily, and Magda's like, oh, well, okay, fine, but you're not getting the next piece. I'll give you this one, but you won't get the next one. So this is the first piece of the sword. So now we're going to go back, turn that part of the quest in, and then next week we will be seeking the second piece of the sword. So we've basically, it's a 3-week thing here, a 3-episode arc to find all the pieces of the sword. So here we're just turning it in and, you know, figuring that kind of stuff out, and now we're going to find out that you know, where ancients dwell for the next piece, and we're gonna have a kind of interesting little thing with the second piece. But thank you so much for watching this week. I appreciate it, and please take care. Until next time, bye bye.